Now on 767 News, police destroy almost $5 million worth of illegal drugs. Public Works employees say they will continue to protest until problems are resolved, and Ministry of Health reviewing measures for payment of public health debts. In sports, Signman X-Men snap 3-game losing streak. Welcome everyone, I'm Alicia George and you're watching 767 News, Dominica's #1 news source. Join me for the latest news stories and updates after this break. Be part of the excitement. Tune in to the Tiny Green Show every other Monday on Digicel Play TV, Channel 3. Accurate, dependable. We go where others have not gone before. We bring you in-depth reporting on the stories that matter. Tune in weeknights from 8:30 p.m. to 767 News, with repeats at 10:30 p.m. and 6 a.m. the following morning. 767 News, Dominica's #1 news source, only on Digicel Play TV, Channel 3. Thanks for joining me for tonight's newscast. Close to $5 million worth of drugs went up in smoke on Thursday when the police drug squad engaged in a drugs burning exercise at Montbruce. The message was, "We will not relent and will keep fighting the war on drugs." This came from head of the drug squad, Inspector John Carbon.
We have here 292 pounds of cannabis. We have 385 pounds of cocaine. And we also have what is called the cannabis resin, which is a product come from the cannabis. It is in the oil form, which had been baked and become hard and they used to smoke. We have 6 pounds of this also. And most of the drugs have been imported into the country.
Carbon said the drugs were seized over a 3-year period while executing their duties. He said they will continue their work in the fight against drugs in light that Dominica is used as a transshipment point for drug smugglers.
We have a value of the cannabis, $292,000, and the cocaine is $4,726,000.
Carbon said the destruction of these illegal drugs is evidence of state efforts to clamp down on the illegal drug trade.
There is an increase in terms of drug trafficking activities in Dominica, but we are stepping up to that sort of activity.
What message are you saying to the drug traffickers in Dominica?
Yes, we are letting the drug traffickers know we are not going to back down. We are going to keep coming at them. So we want them to stop this sort of activity. So we will do all in our power to minimize the use and importation of these drugs into the country, as well as even those locally growing the cannabis.
In 2013, the police burned close to $3 million worth of illegal drugs. In other stories, the groundbreaking ceremony for construction of the new main hospital is expected to take place in July of 2015, according to Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Infrastructural work on the new hospital was initially scheduled for the first quarter of 2015. However, the Ministry of Health had identified critical changes that were needed to be made to the hospital's original architectural plan to better serve staff and patients. At a press conference with media representatives on Tuesday, Prime Minister Skerrit said the current hospital has outlived its purpose and hospital staff are exhausting the little resources available at the facility.
We have to deal with the PMH. There's no work you can do to fix the PMH. And the staff there, the Ministry of Health, the minister, they are doing all what they can with the limited facility. But it is a facility that has outlived its its purpose and so forth. It is run down. It is just not a place where we should, in the second decade of the 21st century, be providing the highest level of care insofar as healthcare services is concerned.
Prime Minister Skerrit believes that the new facility will help transform healthcare on the island and reduce the number of persons having to travel overseas for medical treatment. He said the government has also increased efforts to train a number of medical professionals to ensure maximum efficiency and better patient care.
We are increasing our efforts to train in local Dominicans, to have them specialize in specific areas, so that we have a core of Dominicans who will be responsible for providing those services to our Dominican citizens. Obviously, we'll always need the support of friendly countries and experts from out of Dominica who can bring to bear new skills and new methods of intervention.
The new state-of-the-art hospital is a grant from the People's Republic of China and will be constructed at the current Princess Margaret Hospital site in Goodwill, Roseau. And government is reviewing measures that would assist patients in making timely payments for healthcare services. Healthcare officials say they are looking to strike a balance between healthcare sustainability and those who are economically struggling.
Considering the challenges of meeting healthcare costs, we have to look into proper assessment of the patients. Actually, presently, we have a social worker assigned to the hospital that assists in reviewing persons, whereas before, everybody could just come in and say that they cannot pay. We know that some persons cannot pay, and the government always waives for those who cannot pay. But one of the initiatives we are trying to do is to work with the persons that owe us money to set up maybe an agreement.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Helen Royer, said they have sought to engage the insurance agencies to ensure that persons who are able to pay for health services do so. No one, she said, will be denied health care because they are not able to pay. However, the ministry has to consider the payment of equipment and machinery needed to effectively diagnose patients.
We have new machines, but they come at a cost. Right? And nobody is happy when they go to the hospital and they're being told that the scan isn't functional or the mammogram is not functional, because when we are sick, we want instant care. But if we do not have mechanisms in place to keep them going, that can be a problem. So I think it's just the drive is because we know some people can pay. And those who really cannot pay, they will not be denied, or some people will just say, okay, forget it, because we realize based on the economic status, their social status, they are unable to pay.
Meanwhile, Honorable Minister for Health and Environment, Dr. Kenneth Daru, said he would like healthcare financing to be one of his achievements as health minister before leaving the political stage.
We're looking at the various models that have been put forward over the years. There are certain suggestions that we probably just piggyback on the social security model is one of the options we have available. And there's another school of thought that why don't we attach a small fee to some of the utilities, etc. So we're looking at the different options, and pretty soon, as I said, we'll probably have to go to cabinet and probably inform the nation. Of course, we're going to have to do a lot of public, whatever the case may be, we're going to have to do a lot of public relations, public engagement, engage the public as to what they think, probably, and then we will come up with a solution.
With technical assistance from the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, the Ministry of Health is looking to tackle the issue of healthcare financing using a regional approach. As it stands, the government of Dominica is left to bear a significant amount of incurred healthcare costs. In other news, the executive members of the non-governmental organizations NGOs Coalition for the Protection of Children and Youth is continuing to raise concerns on issues of child sexual abuse and the process of prosecution in Dominica. For months now, the subject of child sexual abuse has been on the lips of many Dominicans, following information released by media stating the alarming number of sexual child abuse cases reported annually. During a press conference on Wednesday, the coalition proposed a 6-point call for action, which includes legal reform, a child-friendly court system, tougher sentencing, and the need for a convicted sexual offenders list. Tina Alexander, Executive Director of Lifeline Ministries, told 767 News that the process of convicting a perpetrator is extremely long and frustrating.
The whole process can take 5 or 6 years. Currently, I have a client who was 13 when she was raped, and she still has not had a day in court. And she's been back to the courthouse how many times? And things are adjourned, papers are lost, the perpetrator is arrested for other things, and it just goes on and on and on.
Alexander said the NGO members are hoping to meet with government ministers both privately and publicly to ensure that they take up their roles as political voices for the prevention of child sexual abuse.
Well, Cabinet has a responsibility, both for the making of laws and also for the resourcing of the departments that have to enforce the laws, be that the police or the social services, education or whoever. So there's two areas where ministers have an important role to play in terms of decision making. One is about whether the law needs revision or policies need to be formulated about how that law operates, and the other one is about budgets and resources and allocating resources to this matter as a priority, making children a priority.
Alexander said political leaders also have a role to play in leading the country's opinion, in this instance on the issue of child sexual abuse. Meantime, Francis Joseph, social worker and child protection advocate, believes that the perpetrators of sexual abuse also need help.
The perpetrators do need help. For one reason, they are going to be coming out of prison at some point. If we go through that process, it helps us in our campaign to try to reduce child abuse in Dominica. If we work with a perpetrator, we get a lot of signals and information as to his background, family background, community background, the likely level of poverty that he grew up in, what was he deprived of, and so on or she. And once we get that, we can put that data together, and it helps us to address issues of abuse in a preventive way, as against always reacting.
Joseph said conviction of child sexual abuse is not a life sentence, and society must condition themselves to the realization that perpetrators will be released after they have served their prison time.
Dominica does not have an effective system established for rehabilitation. Dominica is still behind in the execution, management, research referencing of its social services. We are still very much behind. The structure needs to be looked at again and well designed to meet in 2015 as we know it now. We need to have specialized people operating within the social services. The social services need to be felt all over the island.
Joseph said if a proper structure for dealing with child sexual abuse is not adopted, Dominica will continue to breed dysfunctional families. The NGO coalition, which includes groups like the Dominican National Council of Women, Ghana, Carryman and Child Fund, will follow up its campaign with a town hall meeting on Wednesday, May 20th at the Public Service Union building. Up next, Public Works employees to continue protest action until problems are resolved. More details when 767 News returns.
Shopping is a lot easier with Courts Ready Finance. Choose what you want from our wide range of quality products and we take care of the rest. Courts Ready Finance's affordability means there's no deposit. There's no need for a lump sum of cash. It's flexible, which means you choose your payment term and you're guaranteed the lowest monthly payments anywhere. Best of all, it's easy. Easy to get and easy to pay. Shop at Courts today and get what you want, hassle-free. Courts Ready Finance. Easy, affordable, flexible.
What a night!
It's amazing. It's a really fun time.
What a night! Jazz and Creole Dominica is as big and bigger than St. Lucia. What a night! This place is beautiful. What a night! Hey.
Oh, it's fantastic. I've been having a good time.
Your greenery, your nature, and your people are amazing. You feel like they rubbing over my skin.
Welcome back. General Secretary of the Dominica Public Service Union, DPSU, Thomas Later, has vowed that unless matters involving staff of the Public Works Corporation, PWC, have been addressed, protest action will continue. Later met with the staff of the corporation on Thursday morning following the commencement of the protest on Wednesday, May 13th.
Protests will continue and we'll be meeting with the board at 2:30, and from there we'll decide. The most we can do now is the staff have agreed they will let management come in because certain things have to be processed, like the payment of their salaries and so on, and after I will review the situation. But the protest is not ending, it will continue until all issues are addressed.
The employees said they are never paid on time, which results in late payments to financial institutions, which they are committed to. This in turn results in an increase in the late fee penalties charged by the financial institutions, which is unfair, according to a PwC employee. Reports also indicate that the Social Security contributions are being deducted from their salaries. However, upon inquiring at the Social Security office, they confirm that payments are not being made on behalf of the employees. The Dominica Public Service Union's General Secretary Thomas Later was expected to meet Thursday afternoon with the Board of Directors of the corporation to discuss the long-standing issues. And on May 12th, International Nurses Day was celebrated annually around the world, during which nurses were recognized for their work and contributions to society within the healthcare sector. This year, nurses were recognized under the theme, Nurses, a Force for Change, Care Effective, Cost Effective, Improving Health and Well-Being. In Dominica, the nurses celebrated this day with a church service and a public speaking competition. President of the Dominican Nurses Association, Nurse Deborah Phillip, believes that nurses are a necessary component for the welfare of society today.
Without the backbone, the body cannot stand and functions. Since we are the backbone of the healthcare system, we are indispensable. We are absolutely necessary and should be treated as such.
Nurse Phillips said nurses need to understand their role in healthcare and the high expectations the public has of them.
Patients and families count on nurses to keep them informed, connect them to their physicians and other caregivers, to listen to them, to ease their anxiety, and to protect and watch over them during their healthcare experience.
Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Helen Royer, explained the dynamism of the nursing profession and its importance.
Let me remind you that nursing is a dynamic process. Therefore, the quest for knowledge must continue. As time changes, new knowledge evolves, and you will be left behind if you do not move with the times.
Community health nurse from the La Plaine Health District, Nurse Eva Vigilant, emerged winner of the public speaking competition. She said she was well prepared for the event and is very excited about winning.
I am more than excited, beyond my expectation, but I know I could do it. I saw the script, even when it was given to me, as me being inside of it, and I used my experiences to bring out the best that I could.
The competition entailed 2 rounds, which included a prepared speech round and an impromptu speech round, and was held at the Princess Margaret Hospital. In more stories, 4th form student at the Wesley High School, Luan Lucien, emerged winner when her school hosted their inaugural Miss Fitness pageant last Friday. Lucien outshined her 5 other competitors, which included Odelia Clark, Glenisha Williams, Sabrina Thomas, Anika Williams, and Janaya Samuel.
It was once said that the journey of 1,000 miles only begins with one single step. Standing before you and taking my first step is a vibrant, exquisite, and multi-talented gym. Hailing from the scenic village of Kingsville, staff and students of the Wesley High School, invited guests, well-wishers, and judges. I am 16-year-old Luan Lucien, a proud member of the Airy House, and none other than the prestigious Wesley High School.
The young ladies competed in 5 rounds, which began with a speech, followed by the talent, casual wear, evening wear, and question and answer. Lucien's talent featured a presentation where she could not succeed at any sporting activity up until she tried rounders.
Hello?
Hey, Luan, how do you feel about joining national team?
Who is that?
The coach.
Coach? Yes. You sure is the coach that there?
Yes, I
No, that can't be the coach.
So you're interested or not?
No, coach, you sure it's that? You sure it's me you want to recommend for the team?
Yes, I mean, you're the only player that don't know how to do it.
Oh, yes, coach. I don't mind. Yes, coach, I want to join.
The moral of the story was never to give up when you don't succeed at something. Just keep trying, as success is not given, it is earned. Lucien won the awards for Best in Casual Wear, Best in Evening Wear, and Best Evening Wear. First runner-up Sabrina Thomas won Best Opening Speech, while Best Performing Talent went to Anika Williams, and Best Response to Question went to Glenisha Williams. The event took place at the Public Service Union building on Valley Road. And that's it for local news. The latest in sports is coming up next with Larry, so stay tuned. Accurate, dependable. We go where others have not gone before. We bring you in-depth reporting on the stories that matter. Tune in weeknights from 8:30 p.m. to 767 News, with repeats at 10:30 p.m. and 6 a.m. the following morning. 767 News, Dominica's #1 news source, only on Digital Play TV, Channel 3.
What a night!
It's amazing. It's a really fun time.
What a night!
Jazz and Creole Dominica is as big and bigger than St. Lucia.
What a night! This place is beautiful. What a night! Hey.
Oh, it's fantastic. I've been having a good time.
Your greenery, your nature, and your people are amazing. You feel like they're rubbing over my skin.
Good evening and welcome to 767 Sports. In tonight's coverage, we begin with basketball. Steinman X-Men snapped their three-game losing streak by defeating the Crazy Coconut Tigers by 35 points. In the only game played on Wednesday night at Lindo Park, X-Men jumped out to an early first-quarter lead of 20-10. By the end of the first half, the scores were 36-26 in favor of X-Men. X-Men kept the lead for the rest of the game, outscoring Tigers in the third quarter 17-8 and 36-20 in the fourth quarter. Final scores: Steinman X-Men 89, Crazy Coconut Tigers 54. With this win, X-Men are now 4-3 and tied for the first place with Fascas Prowlers with 11 points. Tigers, now 1 of 5, are on a 5-game losing streak after winning their first game back on March 27th versus Warriors. Top performers for X-Men were Davidson Tulo 25 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and 5 steals. Stanley Otis 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals. Simon Josie 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 block. Top performers for Tigers were Ian Brumant recorded a double-double with 17 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 blocks. Keston Williams 9 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. And in more sports, Day 2 of the Sports Division Secondary Schools Under-15 Basketball Festival for both boys and girls will take place at the Dominica Grammar School on Friday 15th May from 2:30 p.m. The annual event, which commences on Thursday May 14th, targets the younger basketballers at the secondary schools who may have not had the chance to represent their schools in the recently concluded Under-20 Basketball Championships. 8 male and 4 female teams are expected to participate in this year's tournament. The St. Mary's Academy was the last year's male champion team, while the girls from the Portsmouth Secondary School won last year's female competition. This Under-15 Basketball Festival is the last championship for the secondary schools on the Sports Division's calendar of activities for the 2014-2015 academic year. And in football, Wayne George Academy have advanced to the finals of the 2015 Dominica Football Association All-Island League competition. In their semi-final encounter played on Wednesday evening at the Bath State playing field, Wayne George Academy defeated Ian Pinard's Soufriere Spartans by 4-3 on penalty kicks after the encounter ended 1-goal all at the end of regulation time. Kieran Lewis continued in fine form as he gave his team a 1-0 lead, while Wayne George found the equalizer for Wayne George Academy. With no further goals, the match was decided by penalty kicks. The 4-3 success on penalty kicks gave Wayne George a 5-4 aggregate victory. The second semi-final encounter will feature Exodus Boys and Petro Caribe Point Michel on Friday, May 15th from 6 p.m. at the Bath State playing field. Exodus defeated Goodwill Stars to book their spot in the last 4, while the Point Michel defeated Boston Warner. And that's it for tonight's Sportscast. Tune in again tomorrow for more sports.
That was Larry with the latest in sports. Now for a recap of tonight's headline stories. Police destroy almost $5 million worth of illegal drugs. Public Works employees say they will continue to protest until problems are resolved, and Ministry of Health reviewing measures for payment of public health debts. In sports, Steinman X-Men snapped 3-game losing streak. And that's all the time we have for now. Until tomorrow, drop us an email at media@767news.dm. Friend us on Facebook and be sure to like our 767 News page. From all of us on the 767 News production team, I'm Alicia George, wishing you a wonderful evening, and thanks for watching.
Boom, Miss Sinai, it's my time to get on bad when I jam in at everybody. Come celebrate with me, but if you don't know me yet, don't worry, man, we go take a jam in a party. Yeah, put one hand in the air. 767 News.